Hey everyone, welcome back. Really glad you're here with us today.
Hey guys, hope you're doing good. Wherever you are right now, just relax a bit. This is going to feel like a real conversation.
Yeah, no pressure, no rush, just two people thinking out loud.
And maybe overthinking a little too.
It's kind of our specialty at this point.
Honestly, I think overthinking is just thinking deeply with extra steps.
That actually sounds like something a smart person would say.
See, we're already proving today's topic.
Exactly. So yeah, today we're talking about something that's been quietly changing, like right in front of us.
And most people don't even realize it yet.
Yeah, the idea that being smart is actually becoming cool,
Which, if you said that a few years ago, people would probably just stare at you.
or think you're trying too hard.
Exactly. Like, okay, relax, Einstein.
Yeah, back then, cool was very surface level.
Very visual, very external.
Right, it was about how you looked, how you dressed, how many people noticed you.
And now it feels like people are noticing something else,
Yeah, like what's going on inside your head actually matters now.
which is kind of a big shift when you think about it.
Huge shift because it changes what people value.
And what people value shapes everything else.
Exactly. Like even social media, have you noticed how the content is changing?
Oh, completely. It's not just about showing your life anymore, it's about explaining your thoughts.
Yes, that's such a good way to put it. People want to hear how you think, not just what you do.
And that's where intelligence comes in.
Because thinking, real thinking, is attractive now.
And rare.
Very rare.
I think that's part of it too. When something is rare, it becomes valuable.
And in a world where everyone is constantly scrolling, someone who actually pauses and reflects stands out.
Yeah, like imagine two people. One is just following trends, and the other actually understands them.
You automatically respect the second one more.
Exactly, because there's depth there.
And depth is something people are craving now.
I think people are just tired of shallow things.
Tired is the right word. It's exhausting to keep up with fake perfection.
Yeah, it looks good for a second, but it doesn't feel real.
And eventually you start asking yourself, okay, but what's actually meaningful here?
And that question alone already makes you more thoughtful.
Which is basically the start of intelligence.
Exactly, asking better questions. I feel like that's something people underestimate.
Yeah, they think being smart means having all the answers.
But it's actually the opposite.
It's about asking the right questions.
And being okay with not knowing everything.
That's a big one, being open.
Yeah, because the moment you think you know everything, you stop growing.
And growth is kind of the whole point.
Exactly.
You know what's interesting, though?
What?
I think people used to confuse confidence with loudness.
Oh, yeah, like being the most visible person in the room.
Exactly. But now, confidence feels quieter.
More grounded.
Yeah, like someone who doesn't need to prove anything.
Someone who just knows.
And that kind of confidence usually comes from understanding, not showing off.
Which brings us back to intelligence.
Everything is connecting now.
It really is.
And I think another reason this shift is happening is because the world itself is more complicated now.
Yeah, there's so much information everywhere.
Too much, honestly.
And not all of it is true.
Exactly. So now being able to think critically is like a survival skill.
You can't just believe everything you see anymore.
You have to question it,
Analyze it.
understand it,
And that takes effort.
which is why not everyone does it.
And that's why the people who do stand out.
Yeah, they naturally become cool in a different way.
Not because they're trying to impress, but because they're real.
I think that's the biggest thing, authenticity.
You can feel when someone is genuine.
And intelligence adds to that.
Because when you understand things deeply, you don't need to pretend.
Exactly.
But let's be honest, there's still a lot of people pretending to be smart.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a thing.
You see it everywhere. Big words, deep quotes, but no real substance.
It's like decoration without foundation.
That's a perfect way to say it.
And eventually it becomes obvious.
Because real intelligence shows in how you handle situations, not just how you talk.
Exactly. It's in your decisions, your perspective, your reactions.
And your ability to listen.
That's such an underrated skill.
Listening is actually a sign of intelligence.
Yeah, because it means you're open to learning.
And not just waiting for your turn to speak.
Exactly.
I feel like people are starting to notice these things more now.
Yeah, the small details.
Like how someone thinks, how they respond, how they understand others.
And those things matter more than appearance now.
Which is such a refreshing change.
It really is.
Because it gives everyone a chance to grow into something meaningful.
Not just look like something.
Exactly.
I think curiosity is a big part of this too.
Definitely. Curious people are always learning,
And learning keeps your mind active.
which makes you interesting.
And being interesting is part of being cool.
So it all connects again.
Everything leads back to curiosity and thinking.
And being present,
Yeah, actually paying attention to the world around you.
not just scrolling through it.
That's such a big difference.
Because when you're present, you start noticing things others don't.
And that awareness, that's powerful.
It really is.
So maybe being smart isn't about being the smartest person in the room.
Yeah, maybe it's just about being aware
Aware, curious, open.
and willing to grow.
That sounds like a better definition.
A more human definition.
Yeah, not intimidating, just real.
Because intelligence shouldn't feel like pressure, it should feel like possibility.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
And I think that's why people are drawn to it now.
Because it's inspiring.
Yeah, it makes you want to become better, not just look better.
And that's a much deeper kind of motivation.
The kind that actually lasts.
Exactly.
So yeah, maybe the world is changing after all.
Slowly, but in a good way.
And maybe being smart was always cool.
We just didn't realize it yet.
Yeah, maybe now we're finally paying attention.
And once you start paying attention like that, it's kind of hard to go back to just seeing things on the surface because your brain keeps asking questions and connecting ideas and noticing patterns. And suddenly, even normal conversations feel different.
Yeah, like you start hearing what people are really saying, not just the words, but the meaning behind them. And it makes interactions feel deeper, even if it's something simple.
And then you realize that depth isn't something complicated. It's just being present and thinking a little more than usual.
Exactly. And once you get used to that, it actually becomes fun. Like your brain enjoys it.
Yeah, it's like a different kind of entertainment, not just watching something, but understanding it.
And honestly, that feeling when you understand something new or connect two ideas together, it's way more satisfying than just scrolling for hours.
Completely. And I think that's why more people are slowly moving in this direction, because they're realizing that quick entertainment doesn't really stay with you.
But understanding does. It kind of sticks in your mind and changes how you see things.
And once your perspective changes, everything else follows. Your decisions, your habits, your conversations.
And even the kind of people you connect with.
Yeah, because you naturally start looking for people who think in a similar way.
People who can hold real conversations, not just small talk.
And that's when you really feel the difference between surface level and depth.
And it's not about being serious all the time, it's just about having substance.
Exactly. You can still joke around and have fun, but there's something more underneath.
And that balance is what makes someone interesting.
Yeah, not just smart in a textbook way, but smart in how they see life.
Which honestly feels like the kind of intelligence that matters the most.
Because it actually helps you live better, not just know more.
And maybe that's what people are finally starting to understand.
Yeah, that intelligence isn't about showing off. It's about growing quietly and consistently.
And the funny thing is, the more you grow, the less you feel the need to prove anything.
Because you're secure in what you know and what you're still learning,
And that kind of calm confidence, it naturally stands out,
without trying to be seen.
which somehow makes it even more noticeable.
Yeah, it's like the less you chase being cool, the more it comes to you.
And maybe that's the real shift happening right now.
People are moving away from chasing attention,
And moving toward building understanding.
and that changes everything.
The way you think, the way you act, the way you connect.
And even the way you see yourself,
Yeah, because you stop measuring your value based on how others see you.
and start measuring it based on how you think and grow.
And that's a much stronger foundation.
One that doesn't depend on trends or opinions,
And maybe that's why it feels more real.
because it actually is.
And once you experience that kind of growth, you don't really want to go back.
Yeah, because surface level things start feeling empty after that.
Not bad, just incomplete.
Exactly, like something is missing.
And what's missing is that depth, that understanding.
Which brings you back to the idea that being smart isn't just cool.
It's meaningful.
And maybe that's what people were looking for all along without realizing it.
Yeah, not just attention, not just validation, but something that actually adds value to their life.
And intelligence does that in a very quiet but powerful way.
It shapes how you experience everything.
And once you start noticing that, you kind of become more intentional with everything you do.
The way you spend your time, the things you watch, the people you listen to.
Because you realize all of it is influencing how you think.
And how you think influences everything else.
So it all connects back again.
It always does.
And the more we talk about it, the more it feels like this isn't just a trend,
Yeah, it feels like a shift in mindset.
a deeper one,
One that might actually last.
and maybe grow even more over time.
Because once people discover the value of thinking deeply, it's hard to ignore it.
And it becomes part of who they are.
Not something they do occasionally, but something they naturally do.
And that's when it really becomes powerful.
When it becomes natural.
Yeah, when being curious and thoughtful is just your default mode.
And not something you force.
Exactly.
And maybe that's the version of cool that actually matters.
The one that doesn't fade
The one that grows.
and keeps growing.
And keeps changing you in ways you don't even notice at first.
But over time, you look back and realize how much your thinking has evolved,
And how different your perspective has become.
and how much more aware you are.
And how much more intentional your life feels.
And all of that started with something simple,
Just choosing to think a little deeper than usual.
and staying curious a little longer than most people do.
And maybe that's all it really takes.
Yeah, not something huge or complicated, just that small extra effort to think, to question, to understand.
It's kind of funny how something so simple can actually change everything.
Because most people stop at the surface. They see something, accept it, and move on.
But the moment you pause and go a little deeper, things start opening up.
Like layers, one idea leading to another.
And suddenly your mind is not just reacting, it's exploring.
Yeah, exploring is the right word.
And that's what makes conversations interesting too.
Definitely, because when two people are actually thinking, the conversation never feels boring.
It just flows naturally.
Like right now.
Exactly like right now.
And you don't even need a script for that.
Because it's not about memorizing, it's about understanding.
And that's another difference. When you understand something, you can talk about it in your own way.
And that's what people connect with.
Real thoughts, not rehearsed minds.
And maybe that's why intelligence feels more attractive now.
Because it feels real.
Yeah, there's no filter for genuine thinking,
And people can sense that.
even if they don't realize it consciously.
They just feel like this person is different.
And that different is what stands out.
Not louder, just deeper.
I like that. Not louder, just deeper.
It kind of changes the whole idea of what makes someone interesting.
Yeah, it's not about how much attention you grab.
It's about how much meaning you bring.
And meaning stays longer than attention.
Attention fades quickly.
But meaning, it sticks.
And I think people are starting to realize that.
Which is why they're slowly shifting what they focus on.
From appearance to awareness.
From noise to clarity.
And from showing to understanding.
And once you start understanding things, even simple things feel different.
Like everyday moments.
Yeah, you notice details you didn't notice before.
And those details make life more interesting.
It's like your perspective becomes sharper.
And wider at the same time.
Which is a pretty powerful combination.
Because it helps you see both the big picture and the small details.
And that's where real insight comes from.
Not just information, but insight.
And that's another thing people are starting to value.
Because information is everywhere now.
But insight is rare.
And rare things always stand out.
Which brings us back again,
To why being smart is becoming cool.
not because it's trendy, but because it's valuable.
And useful.
And meaningful.
And honestly, kind of necessary.
Yeah, especially in today's world.
Where everything is moving fast.
And you have to keep up, but also stay grounded.
And thinking helps with that.
It gives you direction.
Instead of just reacting to everything.
You start choosing your responses.
And that's a big shift.
From reacting to thinking.
From following to understanding.
From copying to creating.
That last one is powerful.
Because once you understand things, you can create your own ideas.
Your own opinions.
Your own perspective.
And that's where originality comes from.
Not from trying to be different, but from thinking for yourself.
And people can feel that originality.
It's refreshing.
Because it's not forced.
It just comes naturally.
And that natural quality, it's what makes someone stand out without trying.
Which is kind of the definition of being cool now.
Yeah, not trying too hard.
Just being real
And thoughtful.
and aware.
And curious.
It all connects again.
It always does.
I feel like this shift is actually a good thing
Definitely.
because it encourages people to grow.
Not just compete.
Yeah, growth feels healthier than constant comparison
And more sustainable.
because you're focusing on yourself.
Not trying to match someone else.
And that reduces a lot of pressure
Which people really need right now.
because there's already enough pressure from everything else.
True. Social media, expectations, trends.
It can get overwhelming.
But thinking clearly helps you filter all that.
And focus on what actually matters.
And once you know what matters, life feels a bit more stable.
A bit more intentional.
And a bit more meaningful.
And that's something people are searching for.
Whether they realize it or not.
And maybe that's why this shift is happening.
Because people are tired of empty things.
And they're looking for something deeper.
Something that actually adds value.
And intelligence does that. Quietly, but powerfully.
And the best part is, anyone can develop it.
Yeah, it's not limited.
It just takes time and effort.
And curiosity. Always curiosity.
So maybe the real takeaway is simple.
Don't rush through everything.
Take a moment to think.
Ask questions.
Stay open.
And keep learning.
Because those small habits,
They build something much bigger over time.
something that actually lasts.
And grows with you.
And shapes how you see the world.
And how the world sees you.
In a way that feels real.
Not forced,
Not temporary.
but genuine.
And maybe that's what being cool really means now.
Not just being noticed, but being understood.
And understanding yourself, too.
Which might be the most important part.
Because once you understand yourself, everything else becomes clearer.
Your goals, your choices, your direction.
And even your confidence.
Because it's coming from within, not from outside validation.
And that kind of confidence, it doesn't shake easily.
It stays.
Just like real intelligence.
It grows over time.
And keeps evolving.
Just like you.
And that journey, that process of becoming better,
That's where the real value is.
not the final result.
But the growth along the way.
And maybe that's the mindset people are slowly adopting now.
And maybe that's why being smart is finally getting the appreciation it deserves.
Because people are starting to see its real impact.
Not just on knowledge, but on life.
And once you see that, it's hard to ignore.
It becomes part of how you live.
How you think.
And how you grow.
So yeah, maybe staying curious a little longer.
Really does make all the difference.
And if you've been listening this far,
You're already on that path.
so just keep going.
Keep thinking.
Keep questioning.
Keep growing.
And we're really glad you spent this time with us today.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Take care of yourself.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Until then, stay curious and stay real.